Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Super Mario Galaxy Part 12. Fellas, in the last episode, we finished off the rest of what we had left to do in the Kitchen Dome. And in this episode, we're gonna do the Hungry Luma Star for the Kitchen Dome and then move on to the Bedroom Dome. Fellas, I do want to tell you guys real quick, that throat clear is going to be relevant exactly to what I'm about to say, down to a T. Fellas, wow, 600. I am a little under the weather at the moment. Not terribly under the weather. I wouldn't worry about me too much. I'm doing okay, just a, itchy throat. Thankfully not a scratchy one. I hate scratchy throats. But just more, it's like a tickle, right? I have kind of a tickle going on, and I kind of have to clear my throat occasionally. I actually just got done eating some spicy ramen to hopefully see if maybe kind of messing around with that stuff would help a little bit. It does feel a little better. Keyword a little. So if you hear me clear my throat in the next video or two, yeah, you know exactly what's going on. I don't think I'm like sick by any means. I think I'm kind of chilling, all things considered. But fellas, happy 2 days before the Switch 2 Direct. Cannot believe we are this close. I don't really know what we're gonna be doing here. I do know that there is some stuff with. Do you have to I wonder if you have to beam him? Do you have to beam Mr. Eelheel? Mr. Eelheel? Crazy work. This is what you have to do, isn't it? Whoa! I didn't know this was an enemy. Hello? Okay, cool. You learn something new every day. You know, actually, let's get this. Yeah, I wonder if you have to get these dudes. Sick red shell. But fellas, hope y'all are doing well. I genuinely do have to say, for the record, that there's some big news. There's some big news I gotta tell you guys. I have gotten some proper stuff set up in such a way where I can actually, potentially, in the future, do some 3DS stuff for you guys. It is a big development. It is something very, very exciting, in my opinion. That sounded so jank. Okay, I don't know exactly what we're doing, but we're just traversing around, really. But it is very exciting stuff. For those who don't know, I am someone who does have an actual 3DS. I'd like to clarify, but, you know, of course, Citra has kind of never... I've talked about this before, but Citra has always been something that notoriously has never, and I really do mean this when I say never, ran well on my system. It has never been something that particularly runs well, but after Citra shut down, maybe last year, there has been some big developments. Let's just do that. Nope, that is also something bad. Okay, I'm gonna check with you. What do you want from me? But there have been some big developments to an extent with Citra specifically, not necessarily Yuzu. I'm not really focused on Yuzu because, you know, I have a Switch, right? But there's been some particularly big developments. Okay, that explains it. There's been some particularly big developments in the world of Citra modding that, you know, has centered around using some forks or whatever and just making things maybe work a bit better. Now, something I didn't ever expect would actually come of those developments was proper performance improvements, because from my understanding, the reality of what I always believed to, I guess, be true in regards to, you know, anything with a 3DS was that the 3DS just had very specific hardware that emulation was always just going to notoriously be weird about running. Now, I do think, to some extent, that philosophy does exist. I don't think it's, you know, completely incorrect. That being said, the recent 3DS emulator that has made its waves, that is, I think, a combination of two different forks of Citra, I don't remember the actual name of it off the top of my head, and I'm not just saying that to be like, oh, hey, we're not going to alert Nintendo. No, I just genuinely do not remember wholeheartedly. I don't remember in the slightest. Ooh. Okay. There we go. Oh, dude, just align it. There we go. Yeah, I was kind of like, okay, this is another fork, but I hear people talking really strongly about this, so I figured, hey, I'd try it. I tried it with a couple games that, you know, notoriously ran bad. The only game on the original Yuzu that ran pretty good for me was Tomodachi Life, and even then, that didn't really run amazing, to be honest. That didn't really run amazing just simply because, well, you know, there was so much reliance on the single core performance end of things, which is, you know, very technical mumbo jumbo for your CPU and whatnot. It's all, I think, based around how, you know, the original 3DS hardware ran. Okay, we already have availability for the boss. We're not going to be doing that, but oh man, dude, this is gonna be rough. I might not. Hey, listen, after these 2 days, I may just like wait until my throat gets better, because I hate that you guys have to hear that occasionally. My voice is a little frail. I probably shouldn't be recording. Probably shouldn't be, actually, but I am stubborn, and I am. So who knows? But yeah, one of the biggest things, man, is that I was trying it, and I was full blown expecting this is going to run like dog. One of the biggest games that I had tested that ran like dog water but had good compatibility on Citra, so I knew it was more of a me problem, was Mario 3D Land. That is a game that doesn't have great status compatibility, but it has good status compatibility. So it, like, you can have a very, very playable experience with it, and it most of the time will not be having hiccups and all that. But when I was originally playing on Citra, oh man, it was like all the time we were having hiccups, and it was it was pretty bad, man. It was not a good time. But on this hit new emulator, man, wow, just wow, it runs like butter, and it's crazy because, like I said, my hardware it sucks pretty bad. So I was just like pretty convinced that those games that had bad compatibility status, they were just going to continue to run bad, right? That was kind of the impression that I was under, but no, it actually ran like smooth butter. So I was like, okay, this is crazy, right? And for the record, I'd like to clarify again, it's like the 3DS is one of those systems that, you know, you could kind of sit there and question, like, okay, well, I have a, you know, what is it? I have a modded 3DS. So why would I need any incentive to actually play on emulator? And simply put, it is simply because I do not have the access currently to do anything with getting a modded capture card in order and everything. Okay, so that doesn't work like that. I should have known that it doesn't work like that because, like, you know. Ooh. Oh, what the frick? Okay, hold on. Wait, we're gonna... Big brain plays? Watch us. Getting a coin. That's the big brain play. But yeah, so another game that I wanted to test that notoriously didn't run that well, and this was one of the more intensive games that existed on the 3DS. So I really did chalk it down to, yeah, my hardware just simply wouldn't be able to run this, yada, yada, yada. But it was one of my favorite games of all time, genuinely, and a game that I feel is genuinely one of the pinnacles of the 3DS's tech, Kid Icarus Uprising. An amazing game, truly. I feel Kid Icarus Uprising is an absolutely incredible game, and wow, it just ran like a charm. So, the moral of the story here, fellas. Oh god, the moral of the story here is that, I think 3DS Let's Plays might be in order. I think they could happen, and that is just super exciting, right? That is, for obvious reasons, very much exciting because there's quite a few games there that I think could be very fun to do series of, even if I'm not doing 100% in those series. I know a big example. Ooh, Get back here, bro. A big example of one that I really want to do is, Mario 3D Land. Kid Icarus Uprising, I think... All right, then. Kid Icarus Uprising, I think, could also be particularly fun. But I think the only problem with that game is that it is a very story-oriented game. So I feel like if I was talking over the story constantly, it'd really ruin a lot of the charm to it. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, man, I'm someone who loves to be the yapper in these Let's Plays. So it's very conflicting. It's a game that I 100% want to Let's Play at some point. Nice. It took a little longer than I was expecting, but we got there eventually. It is 100% a game that I do want to Let's Play at some point, but it's just a matter of figuring out exactly how I want to do the format for it, right? Mario 3D Land, I think, is going to be very accessible. Mario Kart 7, again, very accessible. Another game on the 3DS that I think is one that I've wanted to consider Let's Playing for a while is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which maybe I've talked about that in a past Let's Play. I don't really know for sure if that is something I've talked about before, but maybe it is. I'm not really 100% too sure, but that game doesn't run too well and has notoriously never had the greatest compatibility on emulators. As a result, you may be wondering, what am I going to do? The simple's quite easy. I have the remake on Switch. We're just going to play that. We're just going to play that. Listen, it's a pretty, my thoughts on that remake, and maybe I've talked about this before. I feel like it's a pretty bare bones remake, all things considered. It's not the greatest remake the world has ever seen, but it's not egregious, right? It's definitely not egregious. I think what is a little egregious about it is that it is a $60 remake for something that isn't even really pushing any boundaries for a remake. It's a little weird. I'm just going to keep it $150 with you. I love that game to death, and I would like to defend it to the ends of the earth, but that remake is a bit poorly priced. This seems like it could be a problem, potentially. I didn't know you could hit A to, cancel out of that. I didn't know that was a thing you could do. Little did I know, man. But yeah, so I don't know. I think if I'm ever going to do Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, it's going to be the remake. The remake, like I said, it's okay. Nothing terribly special, but it is an okay remake that is, simply put, I think the biggest flaw with it is simply that it's just overpriced. I think that is, in my opinion, the core issue with the remake. And I feel like, again, I have it, so it's joke's on me, right? I have it at the end of the day, so that's worth keeping in mind, but I'm very glad that I have it. Dark Moon, I feel like, is a game that is heavily slept on, and, it's a game that I think out of the 3 Luigi's Mansion games, I definitely have the most enjoyment for that. I've definitely talked about this before, but I know Luigi's Mansion 3 is another game that I would definitely consider. And Luigi's Mansion 3 would actually be a bit of a mostly blind experience, because I've never really watched a ton of gameplay on Luigi's Mansion 3, nor have I played much of it. I think I've maybe played the first hour of my copy, and I haven't gotten around to doing much more. But from the hour or so that I have played, it is a very good game. Very good game. Now, the cool thing, too, I say the cool thing. The thing that I think is also worth mentioning that I really want to give praise to about that game, that has got to be one of the most beautiful looking Switch games that the Switch has to offer. Wholeheartedly, that game's art style is just crazy. Am I dying here? Let's just say I'm not, okay? What's funny, man? This is Gussie Garden Galaxy. You would think I would know what I'm supposed to do here, but I actually don't. And you know what's great is that I'm probably not going to have to spend too long trying to figure it out because it's so linear. Then again, Buoy-Based Galaxy had... Well, no, the difference with that was I knew what Buoy-Based Galaxy was like. I just simply, got tripped up. Ooh! Am I supposed to kill all of them? That was the shtick. I just wasn't terribly too sure. Hey, this may only be a 3-star episode if you can believe it. It's funny how we originally started this Let's Play thinking 3-star is going to be the norm. 4-star ended up being a little bit more of the norm, but, you know, nonetheless, I don't really think there's much of an issue there. But yeah, so all this to say, there is, I think, tons of games that I think I am open to, you know, potentially playing now. And, you know, I think all around it's going to be really, really cool. You know, as to whether it's going to cooperate with OBS, you know, and recording during that whole ordeal, that's a different story, right? That could be potentially the roadblock that I secretly don't know about yet, because I just haven't tested stuff. I should probably go through the process of trying to test that, but I will lazily get around to that at some point. But yeah, very, very exciting development, because I do think I talked about earlier in this Let's Play wanting to, you know, do 3DS games, but I simply just did not have the hardware to do it, and that is okay. I have an actual 3DS. I didn't have a hard-modded capture card sort of deal, and my PC did not run it did not run 3DS games to the extent that I would have wanted it to. So that is something very, very much worth mentioning. But yeah, just very, very exciting stuff that I felt like I just wanted to kind of get out of the way and kind of talk about there. I don't know. I thought it'd be just a hair exciting to hear. I'm just kind of, listen, I'm sitting here rambling, man. Guys, if you honestly want the play-by-play of how my day's been, I don't really have a ton to say right now. I do honestly feel like a little more of that banter topic will exist in the episode I'm recording right after this, because yes, again, despite my scratchy throat, or not my scratchy throat, but my itchy throat, I am stubborn, and I am going to record another episode after this, because, you know, why not? It's like he was right there. I should have known. Why are you running into the tree, bro? Oh, bro, stop hovering. I don't remember you being this difficult. Whoa. Good movement, man. I think there's a Daredevil comment of this this boss, so this is going to be interesting when it does come up. I think, honestly, the strat is mostly just to run away from him, and when he comes up, just ground pound, and then you chase him. Which, I mean, sounds obvious, but, you know, I'm sitting here trying to do weird jukes that I don't think matter in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, do that. And then he does this. Yeah. I see. You have to get him twice there. That's the big kicker, fellas. That's the real big kicker. Whatnot. Very, very cool. Awesome. You'll love to see it. Dude, Gusty Garden Galaxy going very smooth. It is proving that I actually don't remember nearly as much about this galaxy as I thought I did. I thought I was a lot more familiar with this galaxy and the ins and outs of every star, but clearly I'm not. You know, listen, I even though this game is my bread and butter and I love it to death, I can't remember every single little thing, right? That just kind of can't happen. It's not realistic, and I don't think we should expect such a thing to happen. Anyways, fellas, hey, if you can believe it, that's going to do it for this episode of Super Mario Galaxy. I think this was a 3-star episode, believe it or not. I think we just took a little long on the stars. We didn't really suffer too much. We just took a little bit of time. We didn't have to do any jump cuts like last episode. Dude, that buoy-based galaxy star. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. But, yeah, Bedroom Dome. Good dome so far. I really enjoy this. The other full, the other full-blown galaxy that's in this dome is also very, very fun. I just gotta say, I'm very excited for when we get around to that, which we might end up starting it next episode. Only time will tell. I know we're going to be starting next episode back in Gusty Garden Galaxy, but, you know, we'll cross that, get there when we bridge. Anyways, fellas, that's going to do it for this episode of Super Mario Galaxy. Fellas, if you enjoyed this video, maybe like, comment, subscribe. I don't know, it's your life. Do what you want. I don't really care. And I will see you fellas in the next video. Bye-bye, guys!